breathing this for any short amount of time, you're going to have very serious issues. So the fact of the matter is, I don't believe in this ice age, because last year, 2016, was the hottest year on record. Now, look what we're going through already this year. Now, the whole entire planet is not seeing these extreme hot temperatures, but we are seeing them. And we are also seeing extraordinary weather, massive hailstones and hailstorms, massive amounts of flooding, massive amounts of rain. You know, rain coming down inches and inches per hour. I mean, we all saw what happened in Japan and China last week and the week before. I don't know if any of you are paying attention to what's happening in South America, but those poor people in some of those countries are just being inundated with torrential rains and mudslides and landslides. And yes, it's costing people their lives. So that is a big point. You know, we're not looking at mass devastation worldwide, but we're seeing it now in different areas around the world. It is occurring. You know, just the other week, this massive hailstorm that just inundated Spain. I mean, their streets of that small city, it looked like New York City in the dead of the winter time. That's how much hail there was on the ground. You know, other places around the world, baseball size hail. I mean, this is truly the sign of the times. You know, we're not trying to fearmonger. We're just trying to bring you the information, and the doctor's trying to give you her layman's terms of this scientific information, because not all of us are scientists. Not all of us are physicists and understand this information. And sometimes you need somebody to break it down and tell you what's happening. I think she does a fantastic job at doing this.
Thank you, Scott.
You're welcome. So, you know, in the course of the next couple of days, we're going to be paying very, very close attention to what's happening. Again, these are NASA and NOAA models. So, you know, there is a little plus or minus with these models. So we're going to keep a very, very close eye on it. But in the course of these next couple of days, there is a very, very, very high chance of this solar disruption creating major disruptions on this planet. Forget about losing internet service and, you know, the radio outages. I think we have to seriously worry about the earthquake and volcanic activity. And Doctor, you want to speak a little bit about this this ionosphere, because this is to me, this is a big concern, what's happening there.
Yes, I think we saw the lightning, high altitude lightning last night, and that to me tells me that the charges, the electric currents in the ionosphere, in the higher parts of our atmosphere, is increasing. And that leads to lightning. I mean, you get lightning because these are basically the Earth is trying to, it gets to such a high level that it tries to equalize with other points. So this is basically a discharge between points where the electric potential is extremely high to points where it is lower. And therefore we would get lightning between different points in the atmosphere. But the lightning was so intense and so colorful that it even surprised me. I had never seen anything like it. And to me, that's the sign that our ionosphere is getting more and more ionized. And don't forget that we've seen signs of this happening with other planets. Venus, for example, its ionosphere became extremely bright because of just this. Obviously, that's where the kind of light that we've seen coming from Venus came from. And so now we see it happening with our own planet. And this will cause major disruptions because these discharges, these currents induce other currents. I've talked about this so many times. It induces currents in lower down in the atmosphere where cloud formation occurs. This leads to increased cloud formation at lower altitudes. And then it leads to currents wherever we have wiring on the surface, so that can impact our power lines and our transformers, the power grid. But most of all, it impacts what's happening inside the Earth. So we are going to get currents in the outer core, which is liquid, basically liquid iron, and increased currents heat up the outer core of the Earth, and then it heats up the magma above that. In the mantle, it leads to magma flows, increased magma flows in the mantle and the crust that places a lot of pressure on the crust. And then we start seeing earthquakes happening at the fault lines. And basically, this is why we have so many earthquakes. If you compare the number of earthquakes we have now happening every day or weekly with what we were having, say, 10 years ago, then you will see that it has increased significantly. And this is because of what's happening with our ionosphere. And it's all due to the increased number of ionized particles impacting the Earth. We were impacted by protons today. These are ionized particles. These are basically hydrogen nuclei that come from the sun, and they travel at high speed. They come right through, they ionize our ionosphere. But we're getting particles and from not just the sun, from these other objects. And I think this is what's causing these effects.
You know, last night I was outside. I was kind of late, you know, just checking out the sky, and I started seeing these flashes coming through my office window.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't remember, you know, I watched the weather report, and I don't remember hearing about any storms coming in, nothing like that. So I stepped out back, and the sky was a deep charcoal gray. You know, it wasn't even black.
Mm-hmm.
It was a deep charcoal gray with this pink magenta tone mixed in with it right above the horizon.
Yes.
And I was wondering where this light was coming from. And as I stepped out there, I was watching these array of just this lightning stretching across the sky horizontally from one end to the other. And this went on for, well, probably about an hour to an hour and a half. And, you know, I kept going out there and I kept looking at this, and I'm like, wow, this is really crazy looking, with the color of the nighttime sky, you know, the magenta pink right over the horizon, and then these streaks of purple lightning, but there were very few clouds in the sky.
Mm.
And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, what is what is happening right now? You know, I tried to catch some of it on camera, on video, but it just wouldn't come out. But it was pretty wild to see that. And that's kind of I think, you know, that's the first time I've ever seen something like that.
Yes.
You know, so it kind of makes you wonder more and more what we're in store for.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to be out every night. I'm going to be out every night checking it out, trying to observe this. And, well, you know, let's just hope everything works out, folks. It does look like we're going to be in for some trying times here over the next couple of days. The Earth's not going to be destroyed. And, you know, we're just looking at some serious situations here, I think, with some earthquake activity coming up, some volcanic activity.
Mhm.
But I believe in the days, in the weeks, in the months to come, I believe that we are going to be looking at more intense times. There's no doubt about that. But anyways, folks, I'm going to go ahead and end this live stream. And the doctor is going to be back later on. She has a report that she wants to talk about the large iceberg that broke off in the Antarctic. Kind of an unusual situation. You know, I did a report on this ice shelf, months ago, months and months ago, when they were talking about evacuating some of these scientists that are down there building their new colonies for the new world order.
Yeah.
At least that's what I think, you know, and the doctor has done a really good report on this, and we're going to talk about it because it is kind of unusual because
Yes.
they are in the dead of their winter time. Am I correct, Doc, here? That is kind of unusual.
That's absolutely correct. So it was strange that it broke off so quickly at this time. I know it had been breaking off for quite a while. It had been breaking off. I think they noticed it was breaking off first in 2010. But all of this, I think, is due to our planet warming up and the oceans warming up from the bottom and so on. And yeah. Another one broke off earlier. I think it was in a few years ago. It was B15, but that one broke off in spring. So it was strange that this one happened in winter.
Yeah, they say it's the size of the country of Luxembourg.
Yeah, that's right. It's huge.
Even though that's a small country. You know, I mean, something that size. I mean, I don't think it's going to create any type of a situation anytime soon. Yeah. But when when an ice shelf does break off the size of Luxembourg into the ocean, I guess it is something to talk about. Very, very strange. You know, Doctor, there was somebody in the chat had made a comment that there's nothing to worry about. The only thing, what the hell did they say? Something pretty stupid. The only thing that's going to happen is you're going to get a sunburn.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So what do you think about that? Maybe this person should go stand on top of one of those volcanoes and see how intense that sunburn gets.
Yes, well, the sunburn is definitely happening because our ozone layer is getting depleted. And well, geoengineering has something to do with that. And indirectly, the fact that we have these objects in the solar system has a lot to do with that because they're using geoengineering to hide these objects from the Earth population.
Oh, we have an invitation up there to Toronto by Bomb 1977. Absolutely. You could take me out for dinner. How about that? Me and the doctor. Yeah, we'll take you out. Hey, listen, you know, the doctor's already completed 5 chapters in her book. She's shooting for 10 chapters in this first book that she's writing. And this is going to be about the beginning of her experience. And it's going to be very, very interesting. And as soon as she is finished and we get this thing published, and we're going to be doing this very, very rapidly through Amazon. We're not going through no New York City, Manhattan publishers that will drag this thing out for a long period of time. We want this information out there ASAP. It will be available for download as an ebook, and it's going to be full of illustrations and pictures and documentation. And I can't wait till she's finished with it so I can proofread the whole thing and enjoy it myself. But as soon as that book is done, as soon as it is done, we're going to be moving forward, straight forward into the public speaking engagements, because folks, the bottom line is we're being censored by YouTube. There's just no doubt about it.
Yes.
No doubt about it. I had an independent auditing service, a media company. It cost me quite a bit of money for them to audit my YouTube channel with the analytics that comes with your channel, all kinds of stats and statistics. The fact of the matter is, I also have a website. All of the videos are on my website. Every single video that is made is on my website. So when someone clicks on the video on my website, it tells me about it. It gives me the stats. Well, this has been going on since March, and I don't understand how someone could click on a YouTube video that's linked directly to YouTube, and the video is being played on YouTube. It's not being played on my website. They're using a link. And I'm registering 1.2 million views on my website for Planet X News. And YouTube is saying that, you know, there is only 675,000. How's that possible? Well, it's not possible, and the auditing company proved it. So they completed their audit, and it is clearly showing that YouTube is stealing views, not putting the views up there. They are also unsubscribing you people. They are unsubscribing you, and they're also not notifying you of the video uploads and the live streams. That's a fact, because I'm getting so many emails from people telling me that they're not getting the notifications and they've been unsubscribed. One guy told me he was unsubscribed from my YouTube channel 4 times in 1 week. 4 times. Incredible. So they're trying to smash the information. There's no doubt about it. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, I urge you, don't rely on the notifications. If you have the time, stop into either the Planet X News channel or the Nibiru channel or even the doctor's channel and check in. If you have to, check in a couple of times a day to see if there's new information. I wish there was another way that I could notify you that would be kind of economical and feasible, but I really don't have that type of technology. So that is one of the biggest reasons why we are going to be moving to the public speaking. These public speaking engagements are not going to be censored. They're not. That's the bottom line. You know, I mean, I did a live stream earlier today because I got a pretty credible and serious death threat from one of these grand solar minimum idiots. I've been getting these types of death threats for like a year. But now, because of major discoveries that we've made, and you know, the doctor bringing her professionalism and her expertise and her knowledge to the table and not being afraid to speak about it, well, things are intensifying, and they want to spread their disinformation and discredit everything. I mean, now they're running videos right now on YouTube in the troll faction stating that the doctor thinks that the moon is Nibiru. I mean, Jesus God almighty.
It's funny.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty stupid, but what do you expect from stupid people? You expect stupid things. But anyways, folks, come back to the channel. Make sure that you have these notifications set up. I mean, YouTube went ahead and reset my YouTube channel to default settings, which showed anybody coming